So my middle daughter turned 16 just a few days ago, and we wanted to go to Malone's, which is a really upscale place in Lexington that also has a bar that's beside of it. Anyway,
It's like A- tier, basically.
yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah.
But then we ended up with like a 10 top, and you cannot go to Malone's on a Saturday night with a 10 top unannounced.
Oh my God, you didn't have reservations?
No,
or anything?
we did not.
How did you even get in?
We didn't.
Oh, okay.
So we had other choices to make, and Lillian could not be talked out of Johnny Carino's.
Oh.
Okay. So I did not know this until I looked it up, but Johnny Carino's went through bankruptcy in both 2014 and 2016.
Yeah.
And it's owned by this other group now. There are only like 30 locations left in the entire United States.
I didn't know the one you're talking about. Are you talking about the one over in Hamburg?
Yeah, the Johnny Carino's
Pavilion,
in
okay.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, I didn't know that one was still open.
Yeah, one of less than 30 open.
Okay.
It shouldn't be.
No. Last time I was there, it was it wasn't A- like Malone's. It was
No.
C plus.
I don't know what it would rank, but this is. You ever had a dining experience where you're just shaking your head the entire night and it's not really the fault of the staff, except it kind of is? You owned a bar for some period of time, so you've had some customers that were like waiting for a long time or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had all the normal restaurants struggling kind of things. We had a mediocre waitress. We had food brought out in staggered shifts.
Oh no! See, that's where I draw the line.
We had slow kind of service, but in the middle of this very mediocre meal, and the fettuccine was just okay. The pizza was good. My sandwich was fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't get what I ordered. All of the things. Okay. In the middle of this meal, a woman that works there starts following a customer out and says, "You're not leaving. You're not leaving. You're not leaving." And we're like, in our mind, we're like, "Oh, somebody's trying to, dine and dash or something."
Right.
No, that's not what was happening. What was happening was we see this happen, and a DoorDasher comes in just a few minutes later and says, "Somebody needs to call the police."
Whoa. Okay.
There's a woman out here saying this man molested her kids. And so some of our party goes out to investigate. The police soon show up after my daughter gives her phone to the woman to call the cops.
This is okay. I'm having trouble like processing this. This is you had a customer leave apparently because a member of the
wait staff family had been somehow aggrieved by this man in a very serious manner.
Okay.
The police do show up. So
Okay.
my daughter and my son and a couple other folks got pictures in front of the police cars for her 16th birthday, because even during the middle of the meal, Lillian has come to the conclusion that this was shitty. And the weirdest part of the night was apparently it gets weirder.
Okay.
The owner apparently is present. So the waitress comes and says, as she's bringing Lillian's, ice cream out for her birthday.
The special birthday, special birthday ice cream, yeah.
And there was a chunky piece of something in this ice cream and cake. We don't know what it was. The waitress says, "We can't sing happy birthday because the owner is here tonight."
What is happening at Johnny Carino's?
I don't know. I was not expecting to go to a dying Italian restaurant and getting dinner and a show.
My goodness. The next bankruptcy is imminent. We are just two middle-aged refugees from Generation X.
Man, we grew up in a time that was a lot simpler than it is today.
Could we gamble on sports back then?
No, not really. We did, but not legally. But now?
Now we can, and we can talk about it on a podcast, and we can talk about a lot of other things too.
And we're going to. I'm Lanny.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is Bet Small,
Lose Small. We're going to start the show today. We have to mention that Dolly Parton passed away today at age 80, which somehow sounds young to me, but also feels like Dolly Parton was around forever.
She was.
You know?
We're recording on August 25th. Dolly Parton passed sometime this afternoon.
Yeah.
It is evening where we are. Dolly, as I was saying to my family at dinner, the fact that my kids know who Dolly Parton is tells you what her staying power was like, because she has not done the thing that she is most known for, which is writing songs and, having hit records. She's not been a big part of that since the 80s and maybe the early 90s.
Right.
But she has endured for any number of other reasons.
Yeah.
Long into her 70s, and even as she turned 80, she had plans for more projects this year.
Sure. So we're not gonna spend a lot of time on Dolly today, because it did happen pretty late in the day, and we just didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it.
No, we're gonna do the AFC preview as promised. But
Yeah.
we will come back and talk about Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
In the next few weeks, as
Yeah.
we always talk about something non-football on the podcast, and she will be one of the first non-football topics.
Yeah, she deserves more than 6 minutes tacked on to the end of the AFC preview.
As a Gen Xer, she's been around for my whole life, so I think it's important that we talk about
And
it.
I think her reach really has a lot less to do with her music and a lot more to do with all the charity work and all the things that she did for she just was an absolute A+ human being.
Yes.
Universal approval rating, just one of those things. We'll come back, but rest in peace, Dolly. Just a great human being all around.
Yep.
Before we start, we're going to start with the AFC South.
Weird transition. Now we talk about football.
Hard transition there. But before we talk about football, we almost forgot one thing. Lanny lost the contest last year. Twice. He's already worn one Bills hat. Hold that thing up. Let me make sure we're on your camera here.
All right. So tell the people what this thing is.
Okay. This is the Bills. It's sometimes referred to as the potato logo. It is the Billustration logo. Now you may think that this was like some kind of a child won a contest.
That's what it looks like
to create a Bills logo for a hat and for merchandise. It was actually drawn by Josh Allen, his rookie year, when he was asked to draw. They asked a bunch of rookies to draw their team's logo by memory, and this is what Josh Allen came up with, which is now the Billustration line of merchandise and hats and things like that. The proceeds from all Billustration merchandise goes to benefit Oishé. I'm saying this wrong, I'm sure, but Oishé Children's Hospital in Buffalo. So there's a portion of the proceeds from that hat that will go to support the Children's Hospital.
I'm glad to wear it for that. For
yes.
that reason alone, I'm glad to wear it.
And
also, every year after the Cincinnati season ends, I become an honorary Bills fan for some number of days or weeks.
Hey, listen, a couple of years ago, I became an honorary Bengals. A couple of years ago, I was a Bengals fan when they went on the Super Bowl run. So I get it. But Lanny's being a good sport. And actually, this hat, Aaron said, get that one because Lanny's not going to want to wear it after that episode. And I'll just take it and I'll wear it. Because Aaron doesn't have any Bills hats. Yeah. So there you go.
All right.
Lanny has to wear that for the entire episode unless he gets too uncomfortable.
No, I'm fine. It's okay.
Okay. So let's start. Now we've got that out of the way. Let's start with the AFC South. We decided to try to start with what we consider the worst division in the AFC, which is not an easy thing to do this year. The AFC is not necessarily stacked, but there's a lot of depth in this division. AFC, let me pull my spreadsheet back up here. The AFC South, of course, last year was won by the Jaguars.
And nobody saw that coming.
Nobody at all had that on their bingo card, okay? Jaguars were 13-4, Texans were 12-5, and by all accounts, I feel like the Texans at the end of the year were probably the better team just based on their defense alone. Okay.
The Texans had the best unit in the South by a significant margin. I thought.
Probably one of the, if not the best defense in the league, the second or third best defense in the league.
Yeah.
The Browns and Broncos were both in there someplace. This year, supposedly the Rams have the best defense, but that's just on paper. We've not actually seen any of that. So this year we've got the Texans. Their over-under is 9.5. Jaguars at 8.5. Then you have the Colts, who started off hot last year with Daniel Jones until he absolutely destroyed his leg in multiple different painful ways. They finished 8-9 and out of the playoffs. Titans. Remember the Colts also. We had the Phillip Rivers experience.
Yes, the Phillip Rivers out of retirement at age 40-something.
The pudgy, weird version of, he was kind of shaped like the potato buffalo on your hat.
You know what? I admired his courage,
Yes.
and I thought it was the fun story of the year. But he did not win, and he looked barely competent.
Right. I mean,
it was the noodle arm Peyton Manning, except worse.
For not playing for as long as he did and being clearly out of shape.
Absolutely. Hats off to him.
Hats off to him.
I'd like to take this hats off.
We also had the Titans, quarterback by Cam Ward, who is coming into his second year. They went 3-14, but two of those wins were down the stretch, and you started to see some flashes from Cam Ward late in the season. Have you watched any of, just quick aside, that show on Netflix, Quarterback?
No.
Okay, this year they are following four quarterbacks last year, none of whom made the playoffs. It was Joe Flacco, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, and Cam Ward. Cam Ward comes off quite impressive in the quarterback series.
In what way is he impressive? Like he's a good guy, or like a confident guy?
He's confident. He's a solid leader. His teammates really seem to like him. He has very high standards for himself and his teammates. He chewed out his teammates after a win last year because they didn't play so well against the Browns or against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, against the third string quarterback in Kansas City. So I have some high hopes for Houston, but they're projected they have over under of 6.5 wins. The favorite to win this division is the Jaguars at -116. I'm sorry. No, I'm looking at the wrong ones. No, it is the Texans at +125. Nobody is minus. No, there's not really a minus odds favorite in this division. It's a Texans -125, Jaguars -210, Colts -350. Titans are not going to win this division. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, but I expect a significant jump from them this year. I believe that the Texans, they brought back their entire defense. I believe that they will be ultimately the representative for the AFC in the Super Bowl. If they can just get all they need is C+ play from CJ Stroud, where last year you can argue it was somewhere in the D+, C- range.
Yeah, he's projected for almost 4,000 yards, but he's also projected for 12 picks and almost 40 sacks. So
he had that awful showing in the playoffs against the Patriots.
Yeah, he imploded.
Yeah.
He does have some talent around him.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins and Tank Dell are very competent, well thought out receivers.
And Tank Dell, remember, was out for most of the season last year. So
David Montgomery's back in the backfield with Woody Marks.
Yep.
So,
lots of talent on the team. They have a solid offensive line. Again, they brought back a defense that was really pretty stifling last year.
Yeah, I think their front four is really good.
As we've seen in the NFL recently, defense, if you have a solid defense and you have just above average offensive play, you've got a really good shot at going to the Super Bowl.
And
we saw it with the Seahawks last year. We saw it with somewhat with the Patriots, although we'll get to the Patriots in a minute. They had a Charmin soft schedule for most of the season. I think this Texans team not only wins the division. I think the Jaguars are a pretty serious regression candidate. They were 6-2 in one-score games last year, and they could have been 1-7. Okay.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
it's the second year of Liam Cohen as the head coach. I just think I expect them to take a little bit of a step back.
Is DeMeco Ryans the caliber of head coach that you say, I believe in that guy? Or is this division in such a shape that Houston simply has the best unit in the division?
DeMeco Ryans was one of those guys who he had a great first year, and then it just kind of it coincided with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud had a great rookie year. I believe C.J. Stroud's first year was the first year of DeMeco Ryans, and it's just kind of gone up and down with DeMeco Ryans' approval rating, I guess, has gone up and down sort of with C.J. Stroud's performance. By all accounts, he's a very, very well-respected coach. He's the one who's really he's the person who's built this defense, okay? So, yes, I think that he can be in that tier of these younger coaches that are making big waves in the NFL right now.
Here's another question, and I'm going to answer my own question.
Okay.
I think Trevor Lawrence probably is who he is at this point. I think that the Trevor Lawrence that we see year in, year out is just who he is.
Yeah.
He's going to be right outside the top 10, maybe like 12 to 15 or maybe 18 on the quarterback rankings of the starters. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's ever going to be elite. I don't think, unless he has some great influx of talent at the receiver spot, I don't think he's going to ever top like 3,800 yards.
No.
And 30 touchdowns, nothing like that.
No, I think he's probably just going to be one of those guys who's frustratingly inconsistent throughout his career. I mean, the Jaguars have a lot of money tied up in him. He's going to be their quarterback for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one of those deals where it's like, if you're the Jaguars, yeah, you can look at, well, let's move on from Trevor Lawrence, but who are you going to replace him with? Like, unless you decide to just tank and bring in another young quarterback, you're kind of out of luck, man, because it's not often that you get you can replace a guy like that.
I agree with your rankings. I think the Texans are clearly the number one team in the South. I'm curious, at least, about the Colts because of that hot start last year. Mm-hmm. I think Daniel Jones is healthy-ish.
Daniel Jones is going to be back. Who knows what effect that leg is going to have?
That's the question.
Because his thing is mobility. He's kind of like I've heard him called Timu Josh Allen because he is capable of making those kinds of Josh Allen-ish plays. He used to be able to. With a wrecked leg, who knows what he's like?
But they still have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. I suspect that we're going to see the Colts in fourth place. I think the Titans are moving in the right direction.
Wow. Okay.
I think the Titans. There's the FanDuel wins plus that we've roundly panned in the NFC preview. The Texans are minus 145 to have 6+ wins. Their over under is 6.5. They're plus 190 to have 8 wins or more. And I'm almost willing to put a few paces on that one.
Okay.
Because I think this could be an 8-9 team this year.
For me, this is the Texans make the playoffs and the Titans miss the playoffs. If I'm doing anything out of this division, it's going to be that. And we pretty well lampooned the AFC South last year because it wasn't a good division. And then all of a sudden, the Colts are on fire.
Yeah.
They come rumbling out of the gate.
Oh, there's MVP talk about Daniel Jones earlier in the year.
The Jags were pretty consistently winning. Mm-hmm. The Texans' defense was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I don't think this division is as bad as, say, the NFC South.
No, certainly not. You don't have any two teams that are the caliber of. You don't have any team in the NFC South that's the caliber of the Texans.
But we'll get to the AFC East in a minute.
I do want to say one more. Yeah. Is that what I said? What did I say?
No, you said you want to say one more thing.
It's okay. The Titans have made just so you know, the football gods might be against them. They've made the egregious decision to change their uniform color scheme to the old Houston Oilers.
They weren't far from it before, but now I know.
Don't defend these motherfuckers.
This
is the team that sued the University of Houston for having Oilers basically Houston football tribute uniforms that use the same colors, and the Adams family that owns the Titans sued the school because for some reason they believe that they have a monopoly on baby blue and white and red. Go fuck yourselves, Titans. You can't do this. This is an absolute middle finger to the football gods, and I think that costs them at least 2 wins this year.
That's your feeling.
That's feels, man. That's just bad juju. I'm like, what are you doing? It's just have your own uniforms. Stop monopolizing the old Oilers. The Oilers were classics, man.
Let's turn our attention to the AFC West. Is that where we're going next? AFC West?
Yes, AFC West.
All right. The AFC West is interesting in that there are 3 teams that we think could be good. But I disagree vehemently with the projection that the Chiefs are going to win 10.5 games.
I am in the same boat. I don't understand, but go ahead with your analysis because you did the dive on this one.
Okay, let's just start with the fact that last year we watched them be 6-11.
Right.
And it wasn't for any particular reason other than they sucked.
They lost Mahomes. Now, Mahomes tore his ACL in whatever week. But they weren't good before that. Right.
And the year before that, they had all those one-score wins. And you're just like, oh, Pat Mahomes, all you got to do is give him 2 minutes on the clock, and he's going to run down and get the touchdown. And it was true for, most of the time.
Yeah.
So Pat Mahomes,
until they got annihilated in the Super Bowl, by the way, was that the year that they got absolutely curb stomped in the Super Bowl? So
they added Kenneth Walker III.
Okay.
And they are projected to win this division by the experts. I can't get on board with this.
Their over-under is 10.5.
Yeah,
this is the same team as last year, plus Kenneth Walker. And I'm sorry, Kenneth Walker, until the Seahawks had that late season run, Zach Charbonnet was their better running back. There's a reason Seattle let Kenneth Walker, had him win Super Bowl MVP, and just said, "Oh, you want to go to the Chiefs for how much money? Cool. We'll see you later, man. Thanks for the wins."
It didn't make a lot of sense. No. Because I thought he played himself into a contract last year.
Well, he did. He played himself into a big contract with the Chiefs, who I think are immediately going to regret it.
Why do you say? I think that, I don't know. I don't think he hurts them.
I don't think he hurts them, but I don't think he's worth. They gave him a pretty sizable contract. I think he's making like 12 or 15 million a year. I should have looked that up, but they gave him a pretty decent contract that honestly I can't blame the Seahawks for not matching, because again he's a really good running back. Is he a top 10 running back in the league? I mean, we can go down the list and start naming naming running backs.
Probably not.
Okay, and I think we can get to 10 before we get to Kenneth Walker. And I don't think that's never really been the issue with the Chiefs offense anyway. The issue with the Chiefs offense is that they don't have receivers. They've been Travis Kelce and then some other dudes that they've missed on in the draft.
Travis Kelce is projected to have 74 catches this year, and that is absurd. He is not getting anywhere near that.
Listen, I've watched some videos on the Facebooks and the TikToks and all that stuff where people are like, Travis Kelce, he's looking good. I'm like, no, he looks round. And these cuts that he's making they come with a tracking number and an expected date of delivery. Like this is not. it's not the same Travis Kelce.
He doesn't turn like a Tron motorcycle anymore.
No.
He turns like a jumbo jet.
No. And I don't see it. I don't understand 10.5 wins.
I don't either.
But
here the other question becomes: let's immediately throw the Raiders out. Okay, the Raiders are going to be bad. We know they're going to be bad.
They're going to be in transition this year for sure.
Yeah, they're not going to win anything.
Right.
They're going to win 4, 5, 6 games. They're striving for competence.
They were 3-14 last year. Their Vegas over under this year is 5.5.
Right.
They're going to be under.
But do you trust the Bo Nix Denver Broncos?
No,
I don't either.
14-3 last year. That's another team that is
the Sean Payton anomaly.
It's a 7. They were 7-2 in 1-score games. That's a huge regression candidate, and they had some close games against shitty teams. Like that 14-3 could very easily have been 9-8. So, I think if anything, the Broncos are second or third in that division.
Yeah, and they have decent wide receivers. Their receiver group is okay, but there's nothing that jumps off the page to me about the Broncos. Their defense is good. Their defense is still going to be good.
Sure.
But their offense is going to be, I think, average.
Well, they traded for Jalen Waddle, who's already hurt.
There you go.
Jalen Waddle, who seemed like he was pretty good in Miami, catching passes from Tua, but there's a little bit of a maybe Jalen Waddle is one of those good stats, bad team guys where it was like, well, who else is going to catch passes for the Dolphins?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think the Broncos are going to be bad, but they're not going to be 14-3.
They're going to have a pretty tough schedule too.
Yeah,
AFC East and the NFC West.
Yeah, and what is their strength? We can look at their actual strength of schedule here.
They're all everyone but the Broncos is in the top 10 hardest, but the Broncos are ranked 15th.
Okay, that gets a little bit easier when you look at Warren Sharp's projections. That drops down to the Chiefs are 21st, Chargers are 13th, 13th hardest, Broncos 22nd, and Raiders 20th.
Yeah,
so depending on projections, that's based on projections. That's not based on last year's finish.
I think we know what the Broncos are straight out of the gate. They have Kansas City at Kansas City, home to Jacksonville, which is a good team, home to the L.A. Rams.
L.
Huh?
That's an L.
Yeah,
I don't even care like if the Rams are coming out and they're disappointing. They're not beating the Rams.
So their first 6 games are frightening to me.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Jags, Rams, 49ers at the LA Chargers and home to Seattle.
Ooh.
That's pretty rough.
That's a potential like
2-4
start.
Yeah, that's where I would peg them.
Especially if Bo Nix, we're not really clear. What was it? A broken foot? The freak injury that he suffered against the Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, we don't know.
It was a broken foot or something like that. I mean, sometimes those things can linger. So I mean, who knows? I don't think Bo Nix is a bad quarterback. I don't know that I think he's being propped up a lot by Sean Payton.
I agree with that.
But when Sean Payton likes a quarterback, there has to be something to him.
The other thing about the Broncos this year is they could win 6 of their last 8 without any trouble. Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Miami, the Jets, Las Vegas again, then Buffalo, then New England, then the Chargers to end the season. Mm-hmm. So they could, in theory, go 6-2 or 7-2 in that stretch.
I believe this is the Chargers' division to lose. And they're the second favorite behind the Chiefs. Division winner, division odds, Chiefs at plus 175, Chargers plus 190, Broncos plus 210, and Raiders at 15-1, which is not going to happen. We also have the Chiefs and Chargers both at 800-1 to win the conference.
800-1?
I'm sorry, plus 800.
I was like, what?
Plus 800. 8-1 if you want to put it in those terms. Both plus 800 to win the conference.
I think
that's just way too high for the Chiefs. That's way too high for the Chiefs.
Do you like Jim Harbaugh and his love letters to Justin Herbert constantly? I'm not a fan of that. But what I am a fan of is Jim Harbaugh, a football guy. Mm-hmm. As a guy, I think he's weird.
Yeah.
I think he's just an odd individual, but as a guy that knows the game, I think Harbaugh is one of the best.
I'll tell you what I love about Jim Harbaugh is that he brought in Mike McDonald to run the offense. Mike McDaniel to run the offense. See, I know.
How many times have you called him Mike McDonald?
Because there's too many McCoaches in the league right now. It's just,
This makes me McFurious.
Yeah, I know. That guy is an offensive mind.
Yeah, he is.
Say what you want about this weird, the capri pants that he wears and the glasses and
two of the weirdest guys in the league.
Just a weird dude, but man, that guy can design an offense.
Yeah,
and that is really what's been missing in San Diego.
Here we go again.
San Diego. For the Chargers, for the LA Chargers during Harbaugh's time there. Where were we on year 3 of Harbaugh now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have this division ranked, I think, similar to you. I think it's Chargers, probably the Broncos, then the Chiefs, but they all might be like 12-5.
Well, here's the over-unders for the AFC West. Chiefs 10.5,
which feels
under.
That feels too high.
Bang the under on that one. Chargers 9.5, Broncos 9.5. I think Chargers are over.
I think the Broncos are over because the softness of their schedule.
I think Broncos are probably a 10-win team, maybe 11, but I think the Chargers are more like a 12 or 13-win team.
I think Herbert is gonna. This could be one of those years where he finally just says, I'm going to be better this year.
I think with Mike McDaniel that there's a high chance of that happening.
Well,
this is and if it doesn't happen this year,
it will never.
Then it will not happen. It's just going to be the football nerds that love Justin Herbert.
Is Justin Herbert like the better version of Trevor Lawrence? Like in what we think that he was supposed to be and what he actually is?
Yep. Listen, Justin Herbert wasn't hyped nearly as much as Trevor Lawrence was. Trevor Lawrence was like anointed the next great quarterback 2 years before he could enter the NFL. So, but again, I think if Herbert can't do it this year, then I don't know when it happens. But I think this is the year when he's they're I think you can see them. I can see them in the AFC title game against Houston.
The Raiders are going to be in a very large parlay of teams that I picked to miss the playoffs.
Yes,
for absolutely sure.
Oh yes,
I think I'm going to put the Chargers in to make the playoffs in a similarly large parlay. On the other side of the ledger, teams to make the playoffs. I think I'm going to have a 5-teamer. To make the playoffs in the AFC that will include the Bills, and I'm trying to jinx you.
Good. We love being jinxed. Bill Simmons is already saying that the Bills aren't very good. That bodes well for
Yes, it does.
Well for
us. As much as we love Simmons, we know his hate for anything that's not for the Patriots.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to have some picks.
Yeah,
that's one thing we didn't do. I mean, we picked.
We will have some division winners. Overall picks.
I've got some big. I've got a parlay that I like to do where I pick 4 teams to make the playoffs and 4 teams to miss the playoffs. And boy, do I have some
from each conference this time.
We can do each conference. I've got one that crosses conferences.
Oh, okay.
I've got some doozies this year.
Do you have a Super Bowl winner? Can we tease ahead to the Super Bowl winner?
I'm saving it.
All right. We're on the push for 1,000 subs, and I'm looking at camera 2.
We're on the 2.
We're on the push for 1,000 subs across all platforms. So if you find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, if you are getting your podcasts from Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. Get the notifications. That way you know when we have a podcast coming out. We're here every week during the NFL season, and we're talking about NFL and Gen X and other things as they come along. But we're on the push for 1,000 everywhere. Give us a like and a follow, and we'll be back.
Let's start with some tough love, all right? Ready for this? Here goes. You two suck, period.
Yeah, you guys fucking suck at your job. I'm going to come down there and beat the fuck out of you, you fucking stupid bitch.
You suck. What happened? You are looking so sad and bad.
Get ready. You better start stretching. I'm gonna fucking wear you out, dumbass.
We don't know how he feels about our work.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
We return with the AFC East, the division where Andrew lives and dies.
We specifically saved these last two divisions, the East and the North.
Because they're the ones that we...
They probably have five of the best 8 teams in the conference.
No, 4 of the best.
4 of the best.
4 of the best 8.
But these are
our divisions.
Yeah.
These are our teams.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills, 12-5 last year, but overshadowed by the resurgent Patriots. The first question I want to ask, and I'm supposed to be the expert in this division, but you are, you follow it more than I do.
I'm going to know it regardless. Yeah.
Mike Vrabel did everything a human being can possibly do to bring stank and stain onto his person and his team.
Yeah.
As a man who demands integrity, he has shown none.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a hangover after the ass whipping that the Patriots got in the Super Bowl last year that they cannot overcome, or are they as good as they were last year?
Okay.
I think I will start. I think the Patriots are still a very solid team, and he is still a very solid coach, and they will try to put this behind them.
Okay. Let's answer first things first. Has he put a stain on the team? Well, there was a point when Bob Kraft was caught getting tuggies in a massage parlor in Miami, and that didn't seem to stain anything except a sheet or two. There's been there was the terrible coach that they hired. They sort of put in place to replace Belichick when he retired. That didn't seem to do anything except cause a slight speed bump. This is I hate to say it, is a solid, pretty well run organization with a few hiccups here and there. I think Vrabel, the pall that hangs over Vrabel is not going to be as impactful as it seemed like it would be when the Diana Rossini story came out in the spring. Okay.
Right.
However, you are always going to have guys in that locker room. When you've got a 53-man roster, you've got another 10 or 12 guys on practice. You've got a large organization that you've just spent the last 18 months preaching accountability, integrity, do your job, all that stuff. And this guy is out diddling the sports reporter, okay?
Allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with allegedly. Fine. Allegedly in those videos. But, there's always going to be guys in that organization that are going to go, dude, I'm a family man, or dude, I'm a god, I'm a religious person, or whatever, that are going to have a little bit less respect for him. Does it matter when you're going to do your job on the football field? Probably not. But does it cause a little bit of a culture, just a little bit of a culture issue to a team?
It does.
Okay.
It does. Okay. But here's more important to me.
Yeah.
At Seattle, home to Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville, at Buffalo.
Yep.
That could be a recipe for 1-3 out of the gate.
Yep.
They're actually probably going to be favored in 2 of those games, but not big favorites.
Right.
I'm not saying that A.J. Brown is the second coming of Randy Moss to Drake May, like Randy Moss was to Tom Brady. But what I am saying is this is a legit receiver that they have there now.
Okay.
I still think the Bills are the better team. And I'm not even going to spend a lot of time telling you anything about the Jets or the Dolphins. Their over-unders are 4.5 and 5.5 respectively.
I would almost go under on both of them.
I think the Dolphins are one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
They have absolutely nothing. And the Jets are the Jets.
Listen, back to the Patriots real quick. 14-3 last year. Their over-under is 10.5 now, which is the same as the Bills' over-under. The Patriots had... I know Patriots fans are tired of hearing about the schedule, and the schedule is soft and all that, but it wasn't just a weak schedule that they played last year. It was one of the weakest schedules in the last 30 years.
It was
not like in the last decade or since 2000. Since 1990, it was like the third or fourth weakest schedule that any team had ever played. Okay? I'm not saying that's why they were successful, but it wasn't like they were blowing teams out every week, and it wasn't like they weren't really playing a lot of top flight quarterbacks. They played hardly anybody above 500 except for the Bills. Okay? So I think the strength of schedule, even if it's just a little bit higher ranked than it was last year, is going to be a massive jump in difficulty just because you had a historically bad schedule.
Well, they could in theory start 1-3, 0-4.
Sure.
But then they play Las Vegas, the Jets, Chicago, Miami, Green Bay, all in a row.
Yeah.
I think they will be favored in every one of those except the Chicago game.
No, wait. Say those again.
Las Vegas,
Okay.
New York Jets,
Both
Chicago Bears,
Bears.
Miami, then Green Bay.
So is it at Green Bay?
It is home.
Home for Green Bay.
Home for Green Bay.
Yeah, that's going to depend on how Green Bay starts and whether Jordan Love is healthy. They might be. I can't see them being home dogs against Green Bay. But would it surprise me if they start off 8-1? No, because
I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, but it's not. But it wouldn't surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise, because it's still Mike Vrabel and it's still Drake May, who played behind a terrible offensive line last year and still had a solid argument for MVP. Okay,
sure.
So it's not like that's just going to go away, but it depends on. We're going to find out just how good Drake May is this year based on just playing at least a league average schedule.
Well, at least he gets to throw to A.J. Brown.
Well,
it's going to be he's got a real number one receiver this year.
Sure. A.J. Brown is, but I have questions about whether I don't have questions about whether A.J. Brown is a good receiver, but is he the answer? Like, what did he really bring to the table in Philadelphia? Like, he did a lot of complaining, didn't catch a ton. I mean, it wasn't like a T.O. type of complainer. He wasn't like a locker room cancer. He wasn't out there doing, sit-ups in his driveway with his agent, bitching about not getting paid enough. But
the kids don't know what you're talking about.
Well, go look it up. Go look up
really
Terrell
don't.
Owens. I'm telling you, you're going to find some bangers out there.
Yeah,
looking
you
up
will.
YouTube
You will.
videos of Terrell Owens. But, A.J. Brown, we talked about this on the last episode in the AFC preview. He was on his way to the LA Rams for Devontae Adams, and the Rams looked at his knee and said, actually, no thanks. So, I mean, it was about one of the worst kept secrets in the NFL that A.J. Brown was eventually going to end up with the Patriots. This was the first that I'd ever learned about the Rams thing, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't think we can just pencil in A.J. Brown for 95 catches and 1,300 yards.
I think we can pencil in the Patriots for the playoffs, though.
Okay, I'll accept that.
That's where I am on them.
I would go a slight under on the 10.5 wins. I think it's a 10-win team.
Okay,
which is only 4 wins worse than they were last year.
I would go over on the Bills 10.5.
Okay, let's talk about the Bills.
I think the Bills are. They're one of two things: the juju, the snake bit, the new stadium, all that kind of stuff conspires against them, or it's a totally Bills fan in his fucking feels, complaining about all the goddamn things when they know that they still have Josh Allen and a good amount of talent around him.
Yeah, they were 12-5 last year. A couple of those losses were ugly. Josh Allen was hurt a little bit. He was banged up at the end.
Very
of the year.
much.
Very banged up.
Like, I swear to God, I saw Josh Allen go down. I'm on the treadmill. I text Andrew. I'm like, I think your quarterback's dead. Andrew, I swear to you, sports fans, Andrew was like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He literally texted me back and said he's fine.
Yeah.
He was not fine. He was not fine.
That's only because because Josh Allen, if he has his brain attached to his body in some way,
if there's a couple of tendrils to a brainstem,
he will be on the field. Okay.
While I don't disagree with you, you can only do so much.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
their division odds, they're minus 135 for the division. The Patriots are plus 135. So Vegas believes in regression for the Patriots, and they believe that the Bills are still solid because they're solid. That's the thing. Even if their defense, even if they've not made enough improvements on defense, and they're changing defensive schemes, they're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4, which means a lot of your personnel has to start doing different things. They brought in Bradley Chubb, who has been, from all accounts, an excellent veteran leader for that team. They've had some issues, some injury issues here and there, but nothing major. It sounds like the defense is probably, I know from your manifesto projection sheets here, that the Bills' defense is not projected well.
No, it's not. I mean, it's okay.
I think that we just don't know.
Defense is a little overrated at times. This is not the 85 Bears. We have not seen an 85 Bears repeat.
Well,
I mean, maybe the Ray Lewis, maybe the Ravens. Maybe that Ravens team was the answer there. But
yeah, but when you look at the last few Super Bowl winners, the thing they all had in common was a solid defense.
Okay.
Because nowadays, the way that offense is played and the way that offenses can just score points in bunches, you've got to have one of those. You've got to have a top 10 defense at least.
Okay, I tell you who I like this year that to maybe be the best back in the league.
Okay, is
James Cook.
Okay,
I think he's going to have a phenomenal season.
I agree with that. Yeah, a big deal here is that they did bring back a lot of their offensive line. Now, their center, Connor McGovern, is a little hurt. He expects to be back by week 1. We'll see.
Well, that's
but
nice.
I still think that James Cook. I agree with you. I'm writing this down. Cook is going to be good. Which but one of the potentially best running back in the league.
I think he's going to be in the top 2 or 3, 4 guys in the league this year. I think he's going to really have a good season.
Okay.
And I think Josh Allen is going to I'm hopeful that Josh Allen, as he gets closer to his 30s than his, early 20s, he learns to calm himself a little bit. We did see that from the guy that he's been compared to the most, Brett Favre.
Sure.
We did see him calm a little bit later on in his career. Did he still do dumb things? Yes.
I mean, he wasn't calm when he was thrown across his body for the Vikings in a terrible, one of the worst interceptions ever thrown in the playoffs.
But we don't want to pencil Josh Allen into this category where it's like where he's Russ Westbrook, where it's 90-10 and the 10 is fucking awful. We don't want to put him there yet because
How dare you? Russ Westbrook.
But that's if you think about Josh Allen, what has he won?
Well, an MVP for one thing.
Okay, but that is an individual award.
You can never say that Josh Allen over the last 5 years has been the reason that they didn't make the Super Bowl.
Sometimes
you cannot say that.
I can say it because I have seen him make the god-awfulest, stupidest throws where you're like gritting your teeth because Josh has seen a hole that's this big and he thinks he can fit a football through it.
And he does.
70% of the time. No. But the 30% he doesn't.
Okay. Listen, I would advise you to go and look at his playoff stats if you don't believe me. I don't think he's the problem. But look,
he does the problem.
He does. To his credit, he is always talking about how he needs to make improvements in the things that he does. He spends every offseason trying to learn a new skill, work on something that he's bad at.
I'm
I don't
hopeful
know who
for
doesn't.
him
I don't know who doesn't, but
that the synapses fire just a little faster, or maybe in this case, fire a little slower where he says, no, I should not throw that.
We haven't even mentioned DJ Moore yet. Have you seen the connection that he's had with DJ Moore?
He's there.
Okay.
It's good.
It's the first time he's had a number one receiver really since
DJ Moore is he's like a 1B. I wouldn't call him a number one.
Considering he's had twos around him.
Fair.
I mean, since Stephon Diggs was there, he's not had a number one receiver.
I have the Bills winning the
It's
division.
been 3 years since he's had a number one receiver.
I have the Bills winning the division.
I do as well.
I have them going to the playoffs. I have them potentially getting to a conference finals.
Getting to the conference championship.
Getting to the conference championship. Okay. What happens after that is a little bit left up to fate.
I suspect that the Bills are the third best team in the AFC this year.
Okay.
I think that's behind. Well, we're going to talk about it in just a second.
Oh no,
because we're going to get to the AFC North.
Yeah, the AFC North is where dreams go to die. The Baltimore Ravens last season were 8-9. They have a cupcake schedule this year. All the AFC has a pretty easy schedule this year.
Okay, so
AFC North. I'm sorry.
Okay, AFC North. This is an interesting one because this is the only division where you don't have that massive disparity between what a team's strength of schedule is based on last year and what it is based on projections. So, for example, Ravens had the 24th hardest schedule this year based on last year's results. Warren Sharp has them as the 28th hardest. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty low. Steelers, 19th and 16th. Bengals, 30th and 31st.
Yeah, we love it.
And the Browns, 32nd and 27th, which I don't think is going to help them a whole lot, but they do have a little bit of talent on that defense. Even with trading away Myles Garrett, I think that's a really oddly talented team in Cleveland that just
they have the worst quarterback room in the NFL.
Let's talk about the quarterbacks.
That's not the Atlanta Falcons.
What on earth are they doing with their quarterbacks? First of all, you've got Deshaun Happy Baby Watson, and then you've got Shedeur Sanders, and then just kind of, and this has been the quarterback competition. Okay, the entire camp, Deshaun Watson and Shedeur. Okay. Where the fuck is Dylan Gabriel in all this? Like, Dylan Gabriel probably played the best quarterback of anybody last year before he got hurt. What's going on? Why isn't he involved in any of this? I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think the Browns just want to be like the heel wrestler of the NFL, and they're doing a damn good job.
Good Lord.
They put an irredeemable, overpaid, has done nothing, coming off a catastrophic injury, Deshaun Watson as their number one. I think they named him.
They named him the starting quarterback the other day. I could not believe it. Because look, as limited as Shedeur is, he's not very accurate. He's not particularly mobile. He's not particularly athletic. He's fine. He's probably not a starting quarterback. He's
Bronny
probably
James. He is Bronny James with a slightly better talent.
I think it's a little insulting to Bronny, but but he played well. Like Deshaun Watson not only has not played for 2 years, he's not played well in the preseason or in any of the other starts. They look at the last. I saw a stat where it was the last 7 starts for both guys, for Shedeur Sanders and for Deshaun Watson, and other than a little bit of a difference in completion percentage, Shedeur Sanders has Watson beat. And based on the way that they played, Deshaun was getting booed off the field in a preseason game by his home fans, who then he went on a huge rant about in the post-game presser, talking about, well, I think it's personal because there's no shit, dude. You came in here.
People hate you.
You're a legitimate, awful person based on all available evidence. You've never done anything to endear yourself to this team. You've been missing in action for 2.5 years
He's
now.
made $1 gazillion.
But that's a ridiculous amount of money.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes,
Now,
it's personal. Yes, it's personal.
Yeah,
Sean.
they really hate
They
you.
really don't like you, man.
They
Well-
want you to go away.
They're going to get plenty of opportunities, well, at least a few, to boo Deshaun Watson off the field again because he's starting the quarterback now, and it's inexplicable to me.
Is Cleveland the only city where the team, their fans are openly rooting for their quarterback to get knocked out of a game?
Not as long as Philadelphia exists. Rest of the division, the Browns, look, the Browns over under is 5.5. That's kind of a stay away for me because
Yeah, we're not here to dunk on the Browns.
No.
They're not making the playoffs. They will be in my parlay.
because they do have some talent. That's the thing, is they do have some talent, and I don't expect Deshaun Watson to be the starting quarterback, in week 10.
If Shador Sanders is a step up, it's the tiniest step.
I think it's enough of a step. I think it's
I
enough
don't
of
know,
a step to
but
get them.
it's not going to make a difference to their win total.
What's their starting schedule? I can't believe we're spending this much time on the fucking Cleveland Browns.
I like dunking on the Browns. What do you want?
I know.
They are favored in one game, maybe 2 games this year.
Give me their first 8.
Jacksonville, at Tampa,
Hell.
home to Carolina, home to Pittsburgh, at the Jets. That'll be close. Home to Baltimore, at Tennessee, at Pittsburgh, at New Orleans.
That is a weird
3
schedule.
and 5.
3 and 5.
They lose to Jacksonville.
Or 5 and 3.
They lose to Jacksonville, Tampa. Maybe they play Carolina close. I don't know.
They're almost certainly starting 0-2 and then winning their next 2 because Carolina is going to stink.
What about Pittsburgh?
Okay, this is the next team I'm going to talk about.
They can
in this
beat the
division.
Jets.
The next team I'm going to actually talk about in this division is the Steelers because they went 10-7 and won the division last year. Their over/under is pegged at 8.5. They are
Right where they finished like in the last decade.
They're plus 550 to win the division. I think, and Aaron Rodgers is quote unquote back.
No, he's not.
I think this is like a 6-11 team. I don't see Aaron Rodgers making it through the season. I don't see a reason why Mike McCarthy is a better coach for this team than Mike Tomlin was.
No.
I just don't understand any of it.
Well, I'll tell you what I understand. DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman Jr. are a couple of really talented receivers.
Fine.
I don't like their running back room. It's okay. It's not good. I think their quarterback is 20th, maybe 21st in the league.
That's generous. I think they'd have a better chance snapping the ball and trying to keep the defense off of a jugs machine as it flings passes down the field to these two guys, because I don't see Aaron Rodgers has looked like he does not want to get hit for like 4 years now. He has not been good since like 2021.
Pittsburgh is going to have a good defense. I think that's pretty clear.
Are they though?
That's not Mike McCarthy's strong suit though.
No,
Mike
that's
is
the
an
thing.
offensive guy.
I don't see it.
Now, if he can get Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf the ball in space because he's Mike McCarthy and he's good at offense, I think they have a chance to win 8 games.
I have them at like 6-11.
I have
6-11, 7-10. I don't see him. I don't see him being competitive.
I have
in this
them at 8
division
and
all.
9, and I'm going to put them in the miss the playoffs bracket because
Okay.
I think it gives some value in that wager.
I agree there. Ravens, new coach, new offense. Supposedly an offense that is going to play more to Lamar's strengths as a passer. They're going to be trying to ask him to run a lot less. They're going to ask him to be under center more. None of these things are necessarily his strong points.
Actually, Lamar is a very accurate passer.
He is a very accurate passer. He's a very good pocket passer. I don't believe that he usually operates a lot out of the shotgun.
He's like Shohei Ohtani, where his value comes in being able to do both.
Right. I think the Ravens are going to be okay. They were 10-7 last year.
They have
I'm sorry, they were 8-9 last year. They missed the playoffs.
Mike Lindell is jealous of how soft, pillow soft their schedule is.
Well, Yeah, but they could do better because the Bengals' schedule is even softer than that.
Well,
the Ravens, I think, look, if Lamar is upright, and that's a question.
He wasn't right all year last year.
Not at all. Not at all.
There was something wrong the entire year where we could not figure it out. And let me give you one more. If you think Derrick Henry, who is in this insane projection for 1,484 yards and 13 touchdowns, if you think Derrick Henry is capable of that, you need to go have your head examined.
We keep saying this about Derrick Henry, but he might be from another planet.
He is fallible, and he is going to show it this year.
He might be sleeping in a time machine. I don't know what it is. There's something about Derrick Henry that until I actually see it fall off for multiple weeks in a row, I'm not going to believe it. Okay, I think this team they were 8-9 last year, and again, Lamar was never right. We never totally knew what was wrong with him. He's kind of like, I think I compared him to, I said he was the Kawhi Leonard of the NFL because he just has weird anonymous injuries that you don't really know. Does. And then all of a sudden Kawhi's gone. You're like, when's Kawhi coming back? And the team's like, actually, we haven't really talked to Kawhi lately. This seems to be kind of what was going on with the old coaching staff, John Harbaugh and Lamar. So maybe that changes now. I don't know. I think they have their Vegas over under at 11.5 for the Ravens. Part of that has to be because of the soft schedule. Because they actually have the Bengals at 10.5 wins. So technically, Vegas thinks that the Ravens win this division and the Bengals come in second. I believe the Ravens probably are over 11.5. I think they can win 12 games. But division odds at plus 100 and Bengals division odds at plus 165, I'm taking the Bengals. I am big on the Bengals this year. I think Joe Burrow is in for. I think he might be a comeback player of the year candidate. I think
so. I mean, he just has to be Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they have the 32nd. They have the easiest schedule or the 27th hardest schedule in the league, depending on how you look at it. That bodes very well for them. And at plus 160, plus 165 to win the division. Man, I'm taking that. I'm taking that money, and I think this is a 13-win Bengals team. I think they win the division.
They start with Tampa Bay at home, which is not an easy game. They go to Houston. They go to Pittsburgh. They're home for Jacksonville. So
I think that's a 3-1 start at worst.
I think it's a 2-2 start. Zach Taylor is a notoriously slow starting head coach.
This is true. However, what was the thing we've been saying about the Bengals for the last since Joe Burrow's been there? They don't have a defense. They can't stop anybody.
They have a defense now,
and this proved itself out. They proved that once Burrow got hurt, and they brought in Joe Flacco. Who was another guy who was on Quarterback, the Netflix series Quarterback this year. I'll tell you what, Joe Flacco is an awesome guy to have.
I think he's a great locker room guy. He does want to play, but he does not want to see Joe Burrow go down with a knee or whatever.
He is a dude. I tell you, the person who I came away with the highest approval rating of after that series was Joe Flacco by far. And I just think, look, I think Joe Burrow is out to prove something, and I think they've actually made significant improvements in this defense this year, including making one of the dumbest trades that I've ever seen.
I don't agree with that. I think that was a good trade.
Well,
because 50% of first-round draft picks are busts.
I get it, but you could have had Caleb Downs for 4 years on a rookie contract. Instead, you bring in that guy that they got who has
Dexter Lawrence,
who was really good 2 years ago. And he's an improvement. Look, he is an improvement. This is the thing that you can't really fault the Bengals on, is they did make improvements.
Plus Boye Mafe.
But
they lost Trey Hendrickson.
Okay, fine. What did Trey Hendrickson do for him last year?
He was like 12 sacks.
He was a 31-year-old. Yeah, but he held out, and he was dinged up a little bit.
Distraction.
He was a distraction. Whatever, man. They've gotten better on defense, and that's all they needed to do. We've been saying this for years. If the defense can just be 10% better,
average,
right? Then the way that Joe Burrow can put up points with T. Higgins and Chase and Jamar Chase,
who went down with an injury today, but apparently
he's
is okay.
He's fine, just like Josh Allen. He's fine.
I just want to go over their schedule real quick.
Okay.
So let's just say they start 2-2. Then they have Miami, Baltimore, Tennessee, Atlanta. That will be 3-1. Then they have Pittsburgh, Washington, New Orleans, and Cleveland. At worst, that is a 3-1.
You got to go 4-0 in that stretch.
I think they can, and I think they will. Kansas City, Carolina, Indy, Baltimore, Cleveland. That's how they ended up. So even if they go to
that's a 5-1 stretch there. They can beat Baltimore is going to be a toss up. Both Baltimore games are going to be a toss up.
I think they're better than Indy. I think they're better than Carolina, and I'm not high on the Chiefs.
Exactly. The Chiefs might look. You never know. That Patrick Mahomes' injury last year was not the first time he's hurt his knee. And
I don't know how
it's
good
been
he's
a
going to be
different
this year.
Patrick Mahomes for the last season and a half.
I think the Bengals can win 12 this year. If that wins them the division, that's great. If it's not, it's because the Ravens went 13-4.
I'm taking the Bengals to win the division, and I think the Ravens are a close wild card team. And
all right.
I think the Bengals are 13 wins. I think the Ravens are probably 12. And I'm not going to try to jinx you, although you tried to jinx my team.
I did.
But I would not be surprised if the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. The only thing I see standing in their way is that Houston defense.
All right. We're on the push for 1,000 subs. If you see this, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be coming back. We'll have some picks. And I want to talk just a little bit about the New York Times story that came out today about CTE.
Were you in it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You talked to a different reporter. That was a whole gaffe on my part. It's late here, folks.
No, that is what? Oh, I know what you're
the
talking
Hollywood
about.
Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter.
We did an interview.
You did an interview, motherfucker.
And Andrew was jealous.
Yeah, it's
all right. We'll be back in a minute.
So we forgot last on the NFC preview. We forgot we did our picks for the division winners and the wild cards.
Yes.
Saying who's going to make the playoffs. So we forgot to do that in the last segment. So let's go ahead real quick and go through who we are going to pick as the division winners, and then we'll pick our 3 wild cards.
You want to start with the NFC?
Well, we already did the NFC.
Oh, sorry.
We did the NFC last episode. AFC South. Let's start with that. Who you have to?
The AFC South is the Texans.
Okay, Texans to win. Let's just do the division winners for now.
Texans to win the division.
Okay, Texans to win the division. I also have Texans to win the division. AFC West. Who do you have to win the division?
I have the Chargers in that. I think the Chiefs take a step back. The Broncos I don't trust, even though they probably have the best coach. I think it's the Chargers.
I agree with you there. I think it is the Chargers this year.
This is boring.
Well, it'll get interesting in a minute. AFC North.
As much as I want to say,
pick with your head. Pick with your head.
I think it's the Bengals. Like, I don't trust anything about the Ravens.
Okay.
I think that I still don't know what's wrong with their quarterback. They have a new coach. So until I see something that tells me that the Ravens are going to be fantastic, all of a sudden I'm on the Bengals.
Okay. It's kind of surprising. I thought you might slide a little towards Ravens just out of not wanting to jinx your team.
I don't take that into account too much. My team is jinxed by the ownership already.
Okay. Well, I also have the Bengals to win the NFC North in a close one. I think it's going to be close between those two.
All right.
AFC East. What do you got?
I've got the Bills. I think the Bills are they have a pretty good chance to get to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay. I also have the Bills, and that's not based on. I mean, there's a little bit of fan. I know a little bit more about the Bills, obviously, just because. Right. Check me out here with the Bills on my forehead, but I feel like there's more I think there's more to that Patriots easy schedule last year than
I think so too.
Than people realize.
I think so too.
Okay.
I can't. I'm not brave enough to say the Pats are going to miss the playoffs, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to bet them missing the playoffs.
No.
But there is a scenario where I think they could miss the playoffs.
I think there is too. Let's go through our wild card picks first.
So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Well, let me say I've also got the Ravens. You're saying Denver as well.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I've also got Denver. All right. Now, this is where it gets interesting because if you look at the way that these divisions finished last year, there's a couple things that we know to be true every year. There's always like 2 or 3 teams in each conference that didn't make the playoffs that end up making the playoffs.
Right.
And there's always a team that drops out. Or there's 3 teams that drop out, right? So far we've already got just between Baltimore and the Bengals, we already have 2 teams that are going to make the playoffs that did not last year.
I think my third team is going to surprise you.
Okay. Well, I'll go first then. My third team, I believe, is going to be the Patriots. I still think that they're good, and I still think in a division where you get 4 games against the Dolphins and Jets, and you still have a relatively easy schedule. I think you're still going to see the Patriots, the Patriots make the playoffs, which leaves out the Jaguars, it leaves out the Steelers, and it's going to leave out what's the third team here that we're sneaking out of the playoffs. I can't put my finger on it right now.
Well, I've said. So far you've got Houston to win the South. So Houston, Chargers, Bengals, Bills, Baltimore, Denver. Those are your 6 out of 7 playoff teams so far. I think the 7th team is the Jags.
The Jaguars. Okay. They made the playoffs last year, so that's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Which leaves out
the Patriots,
the Pats.
Okay,
I think they've got a hangover this year. I don't know. I think Drake May got exposed in the Super Bowl.
He was hurt. When we know after the fact,
right?
Which would have been a hell of a nice little tidbit of information to know when we were betting on the fucking Super Bowl.
The betting on the Super Bowl was definitely clouded last year.
God, that was terrible.
That lack of information.
But yeah, I mean, I can see that. Look, there's not a great history of teams that lose the Super Bowl coming back and having an awesome year.
I don't think they're going to have a great year.
Okay, all right. So there you go. So we both got Houston, we both got the Chargers, we both got the Bengals, and we both have the Bills, which means one of those teams is going to have an absolutely awful year.
Yeah, and it could be the Bengals.
It could be. Look, they probably have the most variance, right? Because if
their
Joe
defense
most likely
doesn't
to get
gel
hurt.
and Burrow is turf toe Joe or whatever, then we got problems.
Toe Burrow.
That was a big injury last year. People don't understand how bad it was.
Man, it really was. All right, so that's it. We've picked all the divisions. Now let's give the people what they really want for our gambling podcast.
Here we go.
Some futures. This is what we're here for. Now look, this is not like prognostication. This is gambling. All right, this is picking value. This is finding things. Sometimes some of my picks are gonna.
We've given you prognostication. Now we're going to give you value picks.
Yeah, some of these are going to conflict. I'm just telling you right now. There are teams that I picked to make the playoffs that I don't have in some of these. There are teams that I picked to miss the playoffs that I'm going to have winning a division. It's just one of those things where I like to sprinkle a lot of pesos around on a few different bets. So,
all right.
What do you have? I'm not going to give out all of these. Let's see. I got 1, 2.
I have 4,
3, 4. I've got 5, 6.
I've got 4 future bets. So we'll just go back and forth, and you give me your best one.
Okay.
In the NFC, to miss the playoffs, this is a parlay.
Okay.
7 teams
7 teams to miss the playoff. You're picking 7 teams to miss the playoffs in the NFC.
in the NFC.
Okay.
Cardinals, Commanders,
Okay.
Giants,
Okay.
Panthers, Falcons, Saints, and Vikings.
Ooh, okay.
And I got that all the way to plus 1127.
That's pretty good.
And we'll put a little stank on that if we get a bonus. or
Yeah,
something
we're not
like
putting it. We got to be careful about using dollar figures.
We're
in
not-
this,
we're not-
'cause
we're
that's-
not saying-
that's bit us in
we're
the
not
butt
saying
before. These
dollars.
are just value picks. I will tell you the picks that I'm giving you out. I have actually sprinkled a couple of my own pesos on some of these. But
Yeah, there's some pesos on these too.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but we don't talk DOLL.
No. Okay, I'll give you one here. This is the Cowboys to win the NFC East, the Eagles to miss the playoffs, and the Bears to make the playoffs. That comes in at plus 551.
That's a good value.
It's pretty good value.
That is
pretty
good value.
Yep. You got to believe that the Eagles are going to miss the playoffs, and you got to believe the Cowboys are going to win the division. But I think if the Cowboys win the division, there's a really good chance that the Eagles have not made the playoffs.
Okay. Going back to the NFC
Okay.
to make the playoffs. I'm picking 5 of the 7 playoff teams. I've got the Los Angeles Rams of Los Angeles, the Seahawks of Seattle, the Detroit Lions, your Dallas Cowboys, and to win the division in the South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
To make the playoffs, it's plus 1248.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty good. That's how many teams? It's 4 teams?
5
teams. Okay, nice.
Risky.
I like that. I'll give you one here. This involves your New Orleans Saints, who Vegas. Look, I can't argue with Vegas. Okay,
No.
Vegas has a thing
Vegas
with New Orleans this
undefeated.
year. They are, well, they're above 500 for sure. But I think I'm going to follow Vegas's advice on this one, and I'm going to take the Saints to make the playoffs.
Wow.
The Lions to win the NFC North, and the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. And that gets me to plus 1410.
Damn.
That's all based on, look, it's based on the Saints, and it's based on, do you trust the Lions and do you trust the Cowboys? So there's a lot of faith in that one.
I don't trust the Bears and I don't trust the Packers.
Okay. I saw something with the Bears where their head coach, where Ben Johnson actually said, we are a prime regression candidate this year. Like he literally says, I don't expect us to have that same record that we had, which is interesting. Ben Johnson even is like, yeah, I don't know, guys.
I feel like I'm channeling the waitress from Hell or High Water where she says, either you don't want the corn on the cob or you don't want the green beans.
Okay. Sure. I'm going to give you another one because I know I've got
Go
6
ahead.
of these. You can do a thing where you can pick exact order of finish on FanDuel for a division. Okay.
That is rough.
Well, it is.
But
Except
you
we
get to plus 2,000 or something.
well, we talked about this one. We talked about this division extensively. It is the AFC West.
All right.
Exact order of finish.
All right.
I've got 1 through 4: Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders.
I happen to agree with that. And you don't have to sprinkle many pesos to get good return on that.
Plus 599.
Okay. That's
So
not, that's not as high as what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's not as long as you'd think, but that actually kind of tells you something because the odds on the Chiefs to come in second or third in that division are pretty close. Okay, it's all set up this year. FanDuel's changed some things where you just basically you go order of division and it pulls up each team's odds for first, second, third, and fourth, and you just pick those. You pick one of each, put those together. So there you go, plus 599 on Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders in that order. You go ahead.
All right. I've got the in the AFC, this is to miss the playoffs. The Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, the Tennessee Titans, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and your Kansas City Chiefs. All to miss the playoffs.
All to miss the playoffs.
That's plus 686. And you'd think it'd be higher.
You would think it would be higher for that many teams. Who screws that one up?
The Chiefs are the most likely, and then the Steelers are probably the second most likely.
Okay.
When you think about the quarterback rooms of the rest of those teams, they are terrible.
Yeah.
Cam Ward, I guess, is your lone holdout.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward is the arrow is pointing straight up with him.
But the Chiefs, obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a Hall of Fame player. I'm not trying to disparage that
If he quit today,
quarterback
he's in the Hall of Fame.
room.
Yeah.
But I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like anything that the Steelers have done.
No. I mean, I agree with every single one of those teams that you've got in that parlay.
Yep.
I've got another one here. Man, I've got the Cowboys in a lot of things. I've got 3 division winners, and this one comes in at surprisingly long odds. I've got the Bills to win the AFC East, the Texans to win the AFC South,
Yep.
and the Cowboys to win the NFC East, and that comes in at plus 1018.
Wow.
Yeah,
Who screws that up?
it's the Cowboys. Yeah, it's got to be the Cowboys. Of all those teams, the Cowboys are the ones that have the propensity to let people down.
Yeah,
I mean, that
but-
could be the Bills, but
I think the Cowboys are less likely to be screwed up than the Bills,
you think so?
just because there's a chance that the Patriots are real.
Okay.
I don't know how good a chance, but the NFC East does not scare me at all this year.
See, the NFC East is weird because it's always all those teams play each other tough.
Jaden Daniels, I am not afraid of Jaden Daniels. I am not afraid of a new offense for maybe a so-so quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and I just think the Giants are a year or two away.
They're very old. Now the Giants have that defense. The Giants have a ton of talent on defense, and they got John Harbaugh there now.
I get it, but I think they're still like, and maybe the Giants are one of those surprise teams where you're like, oh damn, the Giants are 8-4.
Yeah, it could. Listen, it could be. It wouldn't surprise me. Go ahead. You got one more, don't you?
Yep.
Okay.
This is AFC to make the playoffs. I've got the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Patriots, who I just disparaged, the Houston Texans, and your Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. I like all those. What'd you get? What's the odds on that?
Plus 758.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
And it's just to make the playoffs, not to win
Just
the
to-
division.
they don't
just
have to-
hit the playoffs.
I think the Texans are going to win their division kind of by default.
I'm very, very high on the Texans this year.
Yeah,
very high.
I am too.
All right, I'll give you the last one here that I'm gonna give out. I like to pick every year 4 teams to make the playoffs combined with 4 teams to miss the playoffs.
All right.
And I like these because you can take teams that are almost locks to make the playoffs and teams that are almost locks to miss, and you can get pretty good odds.
All right.
But this year is interesting because some of the teams that I like to make the playoffs are actually you can actually get pretty good odds on them just to make it. Okay, so here's what I've got. Here are the 4 teams to make the playoffs in this parlay: the Bengals, the Texans, the Broncos, and the Chargers. And then I added 4 teams that will miss the playoffs: the Giants, the Falcons, the Saints, and the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, the 49ers.
That-
There's a lot of buzz around the 49ers this year.
There is. I think I see buzz in both directions. I see they're really injured. They're
Debo Samuel, as your number 2 receiver, just seems like a bad idea.
and a kind of a lunatic as well. They've got the injury bug hitting them again, and their coach, kind of showed up in a wheelchair to training camp. So
That is it's not a great look.
Not a good look. But those 8 teams together, Bengals, Texans, Broncos, Chargers make the playoffs. Giants, Falcons, Saints, 49ers miss the playoffs. Plus 55-51.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
I'm definitely going to steal that.
if you were to sprinkle 50 pesos on that, it would earn you 2,826 pesos.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's a longer shot than I normally do for my 4-in, 4-out bet of the year, but it's hit every year. So the last 2 years that I've been doing this, That's hit every year.
Okay, I've got one. This is a surprise. I did not tell you about this. This is not something we pregame.
Uh-oh.
Over under the number of regular season games that Tony Romo broadcasts. And I'm going to put the number at 10.
10. Oh, it's under.
You think it's under 10?
Well, I think you got to go. Oh, okay. So wait a second. Are you going to say 10 and a half or are you going to say 9 and a half? You can't just go.
Whatever, 10 and a half.
10 and a half?
Yeah.
Oh, that's under.
You think it's under?
I don't think we see Tony this year. I think he's out.
For one DUI.
Listen to me. We have not had a chance to dig into this Tony Romo thing.
That's why I wanted to bring it up just real quick.
There have been things that I've read out there that there are, if you follow Awful Announcing, this is not the first time that there's been an issue with Tony Romo and his consumption habits. Okay. He's been since those first couple of years when he was doing color alongside Jim Nantz, when he was like a revelation in color commentary.
Truly.
He's kind of slipped as he's gotten further and further away from the game, from playing. Things have changed, and it seems sometimes where he's not as familiar with the lingo and as familiar with the schemes as he was those first couple years. So besides the fact that he's falling off, besides he's getting paid a boatload of money, like he's getting paid more than like basically most rookie quarterbacks in the NFL.
All right.
That combined with the fact that behind the scenes, it sounds like there have been some questions, there have been some rumors, and then he, does a little day drinking and gets a DUI. I think they might be looking for an off ramp for that contract.
All right, fair enough.
I think we see 0 games from Tony Romo this year.
There was a report in the New York Times today, which was alarming to me, and this is a study that has been done and very extensively studied. The CTE issue in the NFL. A recent study found that 1 in 4 former NFL players who died over a recent 6-year period, and likely many more than that, had CTE.
Okay.
We know that football causes this at a much higher rate than any other sport.
Mm-hmm.
Does this change, not your opinion of football in general, but does this change the game in the next 10 to 15 years in your mind?
Well, first of all, let me say this about this report. If I could sum up my reaction as succinctly as possible, it would be, duh.
Okay.
Fair. So we've known before we even started having these conversations about CTE and concussions, we've known for years that football's not good for you, okay?
No.
It's not good to basically run full speed into a garage door 25 times a day. And so why would you do it when you've got another guy coming in and basically taking you out at the waist, going the opposite direction?
Those are the guys that are just getting tackled.
Right.
If you're an offensive lineman, you run into another guy 75 or 80 times a game.
Right. A couple things I'll say about this study also these are kind of flags, and I don't know how other people look at studies like this, how they take these things. It's very easy to say on its face, look, we had X number of former NFL players die during this 6-year period, and a quarter of them had CTE. Well, okay, those are to most people, those are pretty alarming stats. A quarter of all people that play football, that essentially means that they are getting CTE. 1 out of 4. So on a 53-man roster, 16. You're saying 16 of them are going to have.
No, it's more like 14.
Yeah.
14.
25% of 50. Okay, whatever. We're going.
But let me stop you one real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the simple math. 215 of the 878 former players who died in this time period, which was 2016 to 21, 24.5% had CTE.
Okay.
But the researchers only got 235 brains. Okay. And so the actual number of those people could be far higher who had it.
Okay.
But let me tell you this: what other
Okay, but that's a pretty good sample size.
It is, but what other profession has 235 of their participants donating their brains prior to their deaths in order to study the game that they played?
Well, okay, that's all fine, but look at what the perception of how the perception of the game has changed. Like, yeah, of course these guys are donating their brains in football. What other profession is like football?
None.
I mean,
none.
The closest you can get when it comes to like head
Boxing?
trauma,
Boxing?
UFC, like soccer. We know that like they're not allowing in some of the youth leagues, they're not allowing headers right now in a lot of youth soccer leagues in
Which
the
kind
United
of makes
States.
sense.
Well, yes, except in a way, if you look at how the NFL and how USA football has treated this epidemic, I would call it.
I think it is.
They're putting more emphasis on teaching kids better tackling fundamentals, better ways to protect themselves from these types of injuries. Soccer should be, and I'm drifting a little bit away from what I wanted to say about this study, but soccer should be probably not outlawing headers. What they should be doing is teaching kids how to do it the right way, so that they're not, because look, there's a way that you can head a ball that you're not going to full force concuss yourself. It's a very specific thing. Okay, so back to the study, these numbers sound pretty scary. But if you're talking about a 6-year period where X number of football players died, that means you're talking about, they said a recent period. They didn't really give a year.
2016 to 2021.
2016 to 2021. Okay.
5-year period.
That means that most of those guys are probably a lot older. It means a lot of them played in
60s,
the 60s, the 70s, 80s, even the 90s. We remember, you remember the jacked up segment that we used to have in the 90s?
I remember Ronnie Lott, who began his career as a cornerback.
Yeah.
Was a headhunting safety well into the 90s.
Right. With significantly inferior equipment, even into the 90s and into the early 2000s. Yeah. Okay, so yes, that's an alarming statistic that a quarter of them had CTE. But also, those are guys that played at a time when it was just, what you did was you jacked yourself up, hitting guys in the head with your head. Okay?
Even Junior Seau was in an era where the equipment wasn't nearly as good.
100%. We've put a lot more effort, or at least football has put a lot more effort into player safety. Now, you can make arguments how much that was a dog and pony show, but look, the guys are wearing the extra padding on their helmets during training camps now. There's guys wearing them during the games. There's been a lot of study put into just the design of helmets and what it can do for you. We've outlawed things like you basically are taking the types of violent hits on receivers going over the middle, on defenseless receivers. You've taken those virtually out of the game.
The way the game is called is drastically different than it was even 10 years ago.
I think if you did this same study 20 years from now, based on guys, okay, so if most football players now are between the ages of 24 and 35, okay, we got to go probably 30 to 40 years down the road to get an idea of what the improvements to football and equipment and rules have done to reduce the CTE problem.
I think this will be a continuing study. This will be an ongoing where they'll roll a couple years down the road. The players are going to continue to donate their brains to science.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just curious if the NFL is so incredibly popular that we ignore or we go into it with eyes wide open in ways that we didn't used to. Because for a lot of football players who come from socioeconomic backgrounds that are not great, football is one way out. And it's a sport that has a lot of players on the field. It's not like basketball where, there are 12 guys on an NBA team.
Yeah.
There are 60 guys on an NFL team. So you're much more likely to make it to the NFL than, say, to a basketball.
Fair. Well, percentage-wise, though, I don't know what the difference. I mean, there's, for every NFL team that's got 60 guys on their roster, there's 10 college teams that have 105 guys on there.
Sure,
so
sure,
it's very unlikely you're going to make an NFL roster. Although this is the other thing that is not really factored into this. NIL money is changing. Like, there are guys that are like, now they're saying, I'm going to stay in college because I can make more money as an offensive lineman in college than I can for 5 years in the NFL.
And on top of that, the SEC today and the Big Ten today both had to say, we will not take players that are coming back from the NFL.
Yeah.
That tells you where I was like, oh, wow, the colleges or the universities have finally set a standard that I can actually get on board with.
Right.
We're not going to take NFL players. The fact that they had to say that to make that rule, it shows you how absurd that college athletics are right in this current
It's
moment.
another just one of those duh stories.
Yeah.
Now you touched on something that I want to cover real quick. The popularity of the game. We've started finding out about CTE. What, 5, 6? Are we almost a decade ago?
Junior Seau's death was
That was the wake-up call.
Was an eye opener, but he was not the only one.
No.
There have been many others.
Okay.
Just not a Hall of Fame player like Junior Seau was. So I think we've known. I think we've known for a long time. North Dallas 40 came out in the 70s that football wasn't good for the human body. I think we have made some strides. I think this study is more of it's a reminder instead of an eye opener.
Okay.
That the game is difficult for the human beings that play it.
Yeah.
Even though I love watching the game, but I tell you what I don't love watching anymore is the old game. I don't like seeing guys with their forearms wrapped clubbing quarterbacks or whomever, a receiver going across the middle. That is a rough watch for me now, especially on that old AstroTurf from back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
that was awful.
It was just concrete with carpet over top.
Basically,
it wasn't anything fancy.
It was a little bit of padding, but not much.
Honestly, if you really, to me, that was the worst. That was the worst crime of anything. It wasn't dudes hitting each other with their heads all the time and clubbing. It was hitting concrete covered with carpet or dudes like, blowing out their knees because they hit a seam in the turf that was there.
Yeah.
Look, as far as the popularity of the game goes, do people care? I'm somewhat the same as you in that, like, I don't like watching some of the old players, although honestly, I didn't watch a lot of old football to begin with. I didn't go back and watch a lot of old classics, not like I do with like the NBA and boxing. Okay,
name me another multi-billion-dollar industry that got a conscience about its product without a lawsuit. There's none.
Yeah,
Big Tobacco went away.
Yeah,
not because it grew a conscience, because it was forced to.
Yeah.
So I think football is going to be the exact same way.
So you think it'll eventually be some kind of a lawsuit?
I think there are probably already lawsuits, but what I think is the NFL is going to have to continue to move down a road where safety is even more paramount than what it is, or these studies will continue to come out and we will see some changes in youth football.
Yeah,
but I think the NFL needs to lead the way.
Okay. Well, I think in a lot of ways they are. Maybe there is an argument to be made that they should be doing more. It is not going to change the popularity of football one bit. I just went to look up that article because it came out on ESPN. It was on their front page earlier today, and it is not even on the list of the top 10 stories on the NFL section of ESPN right now.
And there you have it.
So, honestly, the common fan doesn't care.
Nope.
They just don't care.
We're on our way to 1,000 subs. Be one of them. Find us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok. We've got a TikTok going right now. It's got almost 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Be part of the.
We're getting some haters.
Yeah.
We're finally we might have to read some comments next week next week we're gonna pick week 1. We're gonna go through all our games. The new contest is gonna start up again. I'm looking forward to buying you another Bills hat to wear in a year. But we'll be making our picks. And yeah, I mean, we might have to talk about some of our haters because we've already got some. Everybody thinks that their team is the best this time of the year.
Vikings
except
fans.
for the Raiders.
Vikings fans, calm down.
Settle down. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We're on Spotify, Apple Music. Any place you get your podcasts. We're video on YouTube. We're video on Spotify.
Yep.
Follow, ring the little bell. I'm not even really familiar with what this term means. All the social media platforms. Go find us out there. We want 1,000 subs.
See ya.